What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
It's good to hear, man.
Yeah. So we got connected through Facebook. I threw on just a post about the podcast, and a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
I met him on an advisory board
Mm-hmm.
for a place that helped me get sober.
Yeah.
So a little over a year ago, I wanted to do like some fundraising for that program.
Yeah.
It was Pathways.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, "Hey, how can I get involved with you guys?" And they were like, "Well, you could donate to us. We always take that." And I was like, "All right, cool. But how can I like pour back in? How can I volunteer? What can I do?" And one of the things that they gave me as an option was to become part of their advisory board.
Mm-hmm.
And then I walked in that day and I met dude, and he was just like, me and him were just like, we just connected right away.
Right away.
Just a great empath. Like when you say the word empathy, he's one of those people that I look at and I'm just like, that guy lives it, breathes it, does it day in and day out. He literally is such a great listener, and he connected us. And he told me that you have a great story. And while this podcast does speak to journeys into sobriety, it also speaks to personal growth and parenting.
Yeah.
And as a father of six
plus
a dog,
plus a dog,
plus a dog,
6 plus a dog.
Yeah. I think that we'll have some good talking points today. So, Deandre, go ahead and just start with childhood, man. Tell me about your journey.
Childhood, man. Grew up without a dad, no dad around, single mom. A lot of time my mom didn't work, so a lot of times I was the man of the house. I think I was like 13 or 14. I got my first job, got a work permit. I think my first job was KLC.
Yeah.
KFC and going to school, man. And ever since then, I did KFC. Then I was working at Hy-Vee and KFC together. And ever since I was like 13 or 14, yep, I got a work permit. And I've been taking care of my mom and 2 younger brothers since I was younger. And then, they just built a crazy work ethic and things like that. Dad wasn't around, so.
Yeah, I can relate to starting young. I think my first job was a paper route. No, it was I got hired as the guy who chalked the diamonds and cleaned the bathrooms and worked the concession stand at the Evansdale Youth Softball Association. I would have to ride my bike down there every day, and I lived in Maywood, and I had to go down to like where 218 meets at like the bottom of Evansdale. So I had to go down. I had to ride my bike all the way down there every day to chalk the diamonds. I wasn't old enough to drive the tractor to mow the grass in like the softball fields, but I chalked the diamonds, and I dug a lot of things out of those bathrooms that were just wild. Wild. So working from a young age is something that I can relate to. Yeah, and my parents.
Yeah, he just wasn't around, like just kind of in and out, but like didn't like come around. It's almost like, and I don't even want to. I like to tell people there's a difference between like negativity and truthful. Like negativity, if I say he's a deadbeat, truthful saying he wasn't there, and he just wasn't there. Like no, he wasn't around, man. Like he only lived like in Cedar Rapids, and we lived in Waterloo, so he never came to see us. So people would tell us. I remember family members would say, "We just seen your dad," and we just seen
Great.
we just seen your dad. Like he didn't come see us, so it was things like that. So he definitely wasn't around. And then part of my life, I think from like maybe 4 or 5 to middle school, we lived in Mississippi, so that's a big chunk. He didn't see or talk to us, but we moved from Mississippi, moved back, we still didn't talk to him. So
yeah, there was a big chunk where mine moved to Colorado.
Yeah.
Did you ever go visit him down there?
Yeah, we went to Cedar Rapids. Like it was times where, so we lived in Waterloo, and we lived in Waterloo, but we had family in Mississippi. So every summer we was given the choice to go to Mississippi or stay here with our dad. But we stayed here. But when we was there, he treated us, like I said, not negative. He treated us like stepkids, man. Like he didn't really care for us or anything. Like even when I was working down there, I was sweeping hair in a barbershop to make my own money to buy my own school clothes. And I remember times he would get mad because he didn't want to give me a ride to work. You know what I mean? So I used to ride a bike. I don't know how many miles. I'm talking about cross Cedar Rapids, like from Hiawatha to Cedar Rapids on a bike to go work to make my own money for school and things like that. So like it was one of the things, almost just an announcement. When we was around him, he didn't acknowledge us. You know, as some people do things just to say I did it. Like, no, I still raised myself. He didn't do anything. I became closer. I'm close with his ex-girlfriend at the time. I still talk to her more than him. So
Yeah. There, did you have like that hype living up, like going into the, like when you, I guess my thing was there was always like a hype around going to my dad's house. Like, oh, I'm about to go to my dad's house.
it was a hype
Oh,
because I kind of made like second family. Like after going down there so many summers, like I said, like we wasn't because Mississippi was like we don't want to go to Mississippi. It's boring. I went down there. You made friends. You make friends. You meet girls and stuff. So yeah, it was a hype to go down there, but not negatively to say, but not to see him though. Like I said, it's like we wasn't even there. So we was hyped to go see um, friends and stuff we made down there and make money too. That's another thing. When I went to Mississippi, I wasn't able to make the money. So the money I made working in Cedar Rapids, that's how I had clothes and shoes for me to go to school and my brothers to go to school. So
yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah, dude, I can relate to that, man.
yeah, man.
Like I really can. But they have foster kids. So we had a lot of I had a lot of relationships with people, kids growing up,
Yeah.
that came from all walks of life.
Yeah.
I'll say it that way. They
Mhm.
had, I mean, they were in the foster system, in the foster care system, and I mean that's because of their issue. They had issues with their parents and things like that. So yeah, it was wild.
And that's another thing too. Like on my dad's side, I got like probably like 8, 10 siblings. So that's another thing too. Like when we went down to Cedar Rapids, that's another thing that kind of I keep in the back of my mind because like when we went down there, it was like a daughter and a son. I had a brother and sister that lived with him and his girlfriend, and they got things that me and my brother
Didn't?
Yeah, we did. So that sticks in my head. I remember times when my sisters were saying, you know, you're not my brother, and my dad. It's man, that's what said stuff like that. It was people saying to me like, your dad say y'all not his and stuff like that. So like things like that play in my head all the time. Even when we used to go down there, like that sticks with your buying, them things and stuff like it still goes on, like
There's I cannot imagine that. That sounds traumatic as hell, to be honest with you. And in those moments, I think, like as little kids, we're very repellent of those things in the moment. But today, little things like that can come back.
Yeah.
And as you move through childhood, a lot of those things pop up in a way that kind of have you searching for who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the best way to describe it for me would be insecurity.
Yeah. Okay.
What that kind of thing creates inside of you. Did you ever have feelings of
Um,
being insecure because of
think-
that stuff, or did you harden up because of it?
I think I hardened up because I think what my situation was, I thank God for is like because I became the man of the house because my mom wasn't like my mom had one eye, so like she didn't get a disability. Nobody would hire her, so we trying to survive off like Section 8 and stuff. You know what I mean? So what happened was because I came the man of the house early, I think I had like a old soul, so I was mature enough, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I was old enough to where because I was never bitter about it, still not. So I think that was God way of protecting me because I became the man of the house early. That I already had a mindset of like, I gotta take care. I'm team mom basically. I'm like, whatever you want to do, that's you. Like, so I think God protected me, and I had an armor already. You know what I mean? But it does make me a great dad today. Everything I think about that he did, I always tell myself like, I gotta make sure I don't do that with my kids though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I think it made me grow up. It definitely made me grow up faster. So
what came next for you?
Next after that, just kind of just went through life, still raising mom. I mean, kind of raising my brothers and mom, and then this college and stuff. Kind of, and even at home too. Like I say too, like even at home got kind of crazy too with my brothers and my mom because what happened was because I didn't have a dad, it kind of ruined. But back to what you're saying, I guess it makes sense because I didn't have a dad. It kind of made my home structure kind of weird with my mom and brothers because to my brothers, I couldn't be a brother. I was kind of a brother dad. You see what I mean? Because I was
they went to you for advice. They went to you for
money,
fatherly things.
So
money.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then with my mom too. So like there was a lot of pressure on me. So that did like that made my dynamic at home kind of like very like a lot of pressure on me too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sheesh. Man, so what was school like for you?
School was good, man. Man, I was one of those people that went to school every day. I enjoyed school, man. I went to school, was fun. Like I said, because I was making my own money, I was a popular guy in school, like making people laugh.
Sure.
Like yeah, man. So school was fun. I didn't have a problem socializing or anything. So that's why I think all that prepared me for now. Like I love socializing. School was fun. Went to school myself. Um, yeah, got myself up for school and everything. So I didn't have a problem with school or anything.
Did you go to college?
Yep, I went to college. Got a I got a associate degree.
You did?
Yeah,
Where'd you go to college
I
at?
went to Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Hawkeye Community College. Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. What about you?
I told my mom, I was like, hey, I don't want to go to college yet. I'm not ready to go to college yet. I need a year. I want to make some money.
Yeah.
I want to see what life is about, being an 18-year-old who kind of has the world by the balls, if you will. You know what I mean? I wanted, so I was like, I'm going to go get a job, Mom. And she was like, you're either going to go to college or you're going to work. That's the rule. So I went out to Tyson. Well, it was IBP at the time.
Oh man, he broke them hands.
Oh. I will tell you that it was not a fun experience.
I heard and seen things. So
I worked upstairs on the hot side, head inspection. It was wild, dude. I had a hook, a knife, a hand skinner. I had to wear a mesh sleeve. If I hadn't had that thing on, I caught my bicep one time, and I still have a scar. And that hand skinner pulled it into a razor blade, and I still have a little scar from it. But if that sleeve wasn't there, it would have been like up my face. I would have been all messed up.
Oh, dang,
anyways, all that to say, while I was working there, I met a girl.
Okay. That's super dope, man. I met my wife. So I used to do music. I used to rap. So it was she's a backup dancer. So at the Cali Congress, the fair, the carnival.
Yeah.
I performed there. I had to do a concert there, and she was a backup dancer. And but ever since then, I remember September 2012, and ever since then we've been together ever since then. So I've known her since 2012. In high school, I was all over the place in high school, but like working and stuff, being the man in the house. But 2012, I met my wife too. So
yeah.
And the thing with my mom too, like I will say, like I wasn't my choice to become the man of the house is like I seen something that made my mind kind of like snap. Like I seen what happened was with that situation when I came to man in the house, to go back to that. It's like so I remember the first day of middle school. I went to Central Middle School. We didn't have any new clothes or anything. My mom couldn't afford it, and I remember she poured a bag of clothes out on the floor because like she had to wash our clothes because how people get new clothes for school. We didn't have that. She pulled some clothes out of a trash bag. And she started crying. She didn't tell me why, but I knew why, because she couldn't buy us new clothes. And that's when, from that moment on, I kind of had like a mentally like I had like something in my brain just tweaked and snapped, man, and that's why I became the man in the house. So
gotta get money.
Yeah, we gotta get that money, man. Yeah, so.
What did work look like for you?
I did some of everything. When I was in college, I went to school for CNC machining. So while I was in college, I was doing CNC machining. So my whole like college years from like 18, because I went 2 years, so I graduated when I was 21. So like 18 to 21, I graduated high school in May, and then August. I didn't even give myself a break. I graduated in May, and then August. So a couple of months later, I was back in the desk. So I was from 18 to 21. I was buckled down, man. I was busy because what happened was I would go to school from like 7 to 3, and then I would go work second shift. It was like a scholarship program. If I worked for them, they'd pay for my schooling. So I would go to school from 7 to 3, and then from like 3 to 11 to 12 at night, I was at work. So then and then luckily, because the CNC machine, there's not a lot of classroom work. There's a lot of on hands things. So like I didn't have to. But like, yeah, man, I was busy. It was like Monday through Friday, like 7 to 3, and then I would go to work after that. So those couple of years, I definitely sacrificed like a lot of time, but it taught me work ethic. You know what I mean? So yeah, it taught me work ethic.
Yeah. When did you find the woman?
So the thing with my wife is, I done met her, and like I said, I was doing 21. I graduated actually in 22. I graduated in 22. Like I said, I was doing music, and then she was a backup dancer for like when I was doing music, and we had a concert together. She was a backup dancer, and then the night of the concert we just hung out, and ever since then we've been together since then. So
really,
yeah, man. So she was a backup dancer. I was rapping for like doing a concert, and ever since then we've been together. It wasn't like I seen her around or nothing like that. I met her through a mutual friend that said she a good dancer, and when she danced for our concert, and that was it, man. I didn't see her around in high school because she's older than me, so it was one of them things. Like,
How much older?
oh, she's 34, I'm 32, so
Oh, okay.
not 45 or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but that's how it happened though. I didn't see her around then. Had a rap concert. I used to rap. Met her. That's about through that. Practiced a couple times, and then from there on, it happened, man.
Where did your rap career take you?
Nowhere. No, nowhere. Cause like the reason I started acting because I felt like my rap career wasn't going anywhere. I felt like like very local with it. So, and I think another reason I stopped doing it too because of the dependency of it. Well, now it's cool because everybody got like you can go on the internet and learn how to like become a producer and things like that. But
Sure.
I feel like dependency. I had to like call people for studio time. Sometimes they wouldn't answer. Like I needed to get a video shot. Well, sometimes you didn't even have the money to pay for a video person. So I think a lot of times it was a lot of stuff like that kind of holding me back. But I just felt very local and I just kind of fell out of love with it.
Yeah. So you just spoiler alert.
Yeah.
You're on a Netflix TV show.
Yeah.
Cause so you met your, like, I understand like childhood and all that stuff and growing up and how you met your wife and what life was like growing up with you, providing for your brothers and sisters and taking care of everybody in your house. So you have this immense responsibility on you to your family. You've been going to school and you decide to leave the house and take it, like pour into this woman.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then at some point you had kids.
Yep. We had kids. Yep. I had my first kid when I was 21. So yep, we had kids. Yep.
Yeah. Boy or girl?
Girl.
First one was a girl?
First one was a girl. Second and the third one was a girl.
I have nothing but boys. So I have to know, is it true that like the little girls wrap you around their finger?
Oh, they do, man. They definitely I call it a sympathy thing because like I feel like with boys you probably more like
you can be hard.
Yeah, be quiet. Yeah, like with girls, it's like no, like I call it sympathy game. You just feel sorry for them all the time. So they definitely got me wrapped around their fingers.
Yeah. So how many boys do you have?
2 step boys.
2 step boys.
Yeah, 2 step boys.
So your wife has children from before your marriage.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And then one on the way. So
I have 1 billion questions.
It's all good, man. I love the questions, man. Hey.
So I'll just go with it. I'll just start because I've never been a step parent and I'm so intrigued by this. And I talk to my wife about it all the time because she has, so I have 3 kids. One of them's 21 years old. So he was older when my wife and I met. One of them is 12 years old. He was like 3 or 4 when my wife and I met. And I have a 4-year-old now. And she's always been, I really just got to give it up to my wife, man. She's like one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life.
It's a hard, and not to cut you off, but it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do. I tell people being a step parent is probably one of the hardest things. Like, cause like understanding, cause I don't think like, you know what I mean? Understanding, like it's a hard thing, man, to do.
You want to unpack that a little bit? Like what's hard about it? Because I think that's an important piece of like who you become.
I think it's hard because I feel like you deal with stuff that you don't have to, and like you stay around. And I think that's like stay in your head. For instance, like kids acting up, like part of like I don't even have to be here, but you can't sticking it out is hard if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to run away, so that makes it harder. Also, in my case, sometimes the consistency, like or like finding myself trying not to feel like I'm wasting energy. Like I tell my son to do something, his mom be like, no. So it's like sometimes I feel like they brain conflicted. Like they never said like
brand conflicted. Yeah, that's a good term.
Because they never said like you're not my dad, but it's like you know what I mean. I'm like I know like part of them thinking like you're not my dad. So and it's stuff like that makes it hard, man.
I talk about a lot visceral gut reactions that don't need words to be said, and you can almost see it. And that's one of them, right? Like I can see it sometimes with my son, you know, how he responds to my wife. Sometimes it's like goes in one ear and out the other. But if I say it, it's like, oh, instant eye contact. And I'm like, man, I wish like you would just pay a little bit closer
And that's exactly
attention.
what I'm talking about. Like, and like you can feel that. And then like like I said, I don't know if your wife like never said it. It's one of the things. It's just a thought always because it's like it's easier to run away. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to be like, I don't want to deal with this because you know what I mean. Or like just stuff like that, like getting it. The kids stuff happen. You know, sometimes you get stressed out, and it's like, do I continue to stress out about
Yeah.
somebody else's kids? And it sucks to think like that, but
Yeah.
you know, when you love someone, you stick it out. But it's things like it's simple things like that make it hard. You know what I mean? Like being stressed out for someone else's kids, and you like, do I really have to deal with this? You know what I mean?
Listen, what you just said right there is that it's dealing with it is hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard for people who don't care.
Yeah. Oh
The fact that you care enough to know inside of you that it's something that you like, you want to make right, you want to do the right way, and that's difficult. If it wasn't difficult, it wouldn't be important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to give it up to you as a step parent in that regard, because I think your heart is in the right place. You're a good man, and at some point they'll they probably already do have a great relationship with you.
Yeah.
But I have a fantastic relationship with my stepdad.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, man.
No, we have a great relationship. Like we definitely like they listen to me, they respect me and things like they definitely respect. You gotta think about it. Like I've been with my wife. I've been with my wife since 2012. So they was like 2 and 3. So like for instance, with that, like I was raising somebody else's kids before my kids was born. That's what I mean. Things like you see what I mean. Like so they older than Mike. You got the oldest.
You've got a longer connection with them.
Yeah. Yeah. So like my oldest stepson is like 16 and one is 14. So they was here before. You got to think about it. See what I mean? Like I was raising them, but I didn't have kids yet. So that's what I think. Like stage, like I don't even have my kids yet. You know what I mean? So,
how old were you when you became a step parent?
So I would have been 21 because I didn't have my daughter yet. I had my daughter when I was 21, and I met my wife when I was 21. So yeah. That's and plus it's like an unwritten rule. Like it's like something you never. It's something you don't think about it. Like step parents don't get enough credit. Like
they don't.
You know what I mean? Because like you really are dealing with
the good ones. Don't.
Yeah, man.
I'm just gonna say it. The good ones do not.
Yeah, man. And it's
show me a step parent who has a great relationship with their stepson or daughter, and I'll give them a hug, because like that is one of the raising somebody else's kids, co-parenting with somebody else's kids is one of the hardest things to do in the entire world. Yeah. It just is, because you have to go up again, and I don't know what role their father has in their lives, and we can talk about that if you want, but my wife is a great step parent, and I wouldn't say deals with my ex-wife, but or my son's mothers, but they're but because it's relatively good, you know what I mean? But it's hard when it's somebody else, like when you have to compete with somebody else for the role of a parent.
This is a weird thing, because you like, and also like, do I do this? Do I overstep? So it's always like,
how hard do I need to be?
Yes, because it's literally one of the things where you have to think like every time before you act. Like even, and I tell the difference is like with my kids. If I tell my kid to sit down and my wife, like my actual daughter, sit down, and my wife say get up, I look at them like, listen, I'm like, because like the difference is like you listen to me. With the step kid, it's like if she said get up, they probably get up. You know what I mean? And then you like, do I argue over this? It's like a weird, you know what I mean? It's it's like a weird thing, you know. So yeah, man.
Oh, that's wild.
It's crazy, man. Like being a step, like it is, man. It's one of them things. Like I wish I can like talk to other people about it, because it's like I say, I think a lot of times it's dealing with stuff.
And I think honestly, man, I think that's the whole point here, is to like actually start having these types of conversations. Me and you didn't sit here and decide that we were going to talk about being step parents today. I have no basis in what that looks like, except for to see it firsthand from my wife's perspective. You do, and I think that that it's worth talking about. That's a topic worth paying attention to.
It definitely is, man.
Navigating that is hard.
Yeah, you definitely have to be strong. You gotta just have to stick it out. You know, you definitely gotta be strong.
And you got to stay on the team, right? Yeah. You got to stay on the team, whether that's on your wife's team or and then there's the other person that is also a parent in that situation as well. The other father, the other mother, that you have to stay on the team with. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a hard part too. They dads they're not in their life, like, but they come in and like, and that's another thing that messes with them. So like, and it just honestly, like, they dads are not in their lives. Like they dad, like, like one, the oldest one, haven't seen his dad probably it's probably been years. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And then the youngest one, his dad might pick him up today. He might not pick him up again until December. You know, and he like just Christmas this past and stuff like didn't call him, no gift, like no gifts. It's not to be negative. It's the truth. You know, like I said, like it wasn't not there or anything. And then what will happen with situations like that is sometimes it's as weird. Like I don't get in. I tell them all the time, like I would never stop you from seeing your dad. And it's, but you know what I mean? Like being a man and raising kids and seeing how it is, you try not to judge, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So that gets hard too because they are not there. You kind of like try to be respectful for the kids, but you're like, no, you know what I mean?
You have to go to the sovereignty prayer over that one.
Yeah.
Like I can only control what I can control.
Yeah.
And I need to have the wisdom to know what I can and what I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in those situations, those are just hard. That's just difficult.
Yeah. And also I learned too, it's like, it's up to the kid. Like, that's the thing. I think I learned at a young age, like having kids, like even if they want to talk to him or not, I never talk to him. The kid can, you know, that's the kid. The kid know the truth. You know what I mean? That's all I always say. The kid know the truth. You know.
Yeah.
Because if I end up saying something to them or even trying to fight, it's like there's no reason. The kid know who's there and who's not. You know what I mean? So I let the universe and God deal with that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important, man.
Man.
Well, we just went down a whole rabbit hole, didn't we?
Oh man, we need to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, again, I think that's just a relevant conversation to have. You know what I mean? When it comes down to parenting, people only see it as, oh, you're parenting your children. This is how you should parent your children. When you're a step parent, you don't have as much control. It's almost like you're just giving the wheel to your partner, and you have to support your partner in that, and hope.
That's basically what it is. You're giving your partner that's basically that. You just explain it in a perfect way. You're giving your partner the wheel, and you kind of just supporting. You know, like with your own kids, it's more like
even if you want to be like, no,
no,
I
want to grab the steering wheel sometimes. Like,
you're gonna crash.
Yeah, no, but it's like, man, sometimes I gotta stand there and be like, we got insurance, so let's go ahead. But I love it, yeah, man. But yeah, I think that helped too, though. Like, and that's another thing I think helped my situation too. Like, or like your wife, like. I raised them since they was like 2 and 3, so yeah, I've been there a long time, since their whole life almost. So
yeah, well, that's good, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, so you have 2 step sons, and then you had your daughter,
3,
and then there's 3 more.
You have 3 daughters. I got 3 daughters.
3 daughters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
How old?
I was 11. I started thinking, man. I think like I try to go in order. Like I think, and then the birthdays always come in 11. No, 6, 9, and 11. Yeah, I do it all the time. Like because the birthdays come in, the age change 6, 9, and 11. So,
yeah. So 6, 7, so 5 years. 5 years apart, max.
Not anymore within those.
Yeah.
I know, man.
How old is your oldest stepson?
16.
16.
Yep.
So from 16 to a baby.
To a baby, newborn.
Do I need to edit that out? Have you guys talked about that?
No, we talked about it.
I didn't know if you announced and there's like a baby announcement coming over. Like, hey, on the Domestic Dad Podcast, I announced the birth of my next child.
You want to know that people know. We really haven't. We told some people in the family, but but no, it's cool, man. I'm glad to share this with you. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah, man.
Cool. All right. So so we talked about trauma. We talked about just some things that you have been through in your life. Do you want to kind of get into some of that stuff?
Yeah. So
and when that happened?
Yeah.
Right.
So 2018. You know, younger brother had being the oldest, younger brother kind of hung with the wrong crowd. It's all on the news. This made like Fox and stuff, and I actually just went to trial for it. I think a year or 2 ago because they finally convicted the guy. But brother hung with some people. He was in the car with some people, riding in the truck with some people. They did a drive-by. Somebody died. My brother went to jail. He was acquitted, so he didn't get charged for murder.
How old was he?
He was like, I think he was like 21 when he was like 21 when he died. Got acquitted of murder, but the streets, so the streets wasn't having it. So one of the guys that got killed by the drive-by, his brother started dating our cousin, and the whole time he was setting up a plot to kill my brother. So my brother started hanging out with our cousin because they was close, but the whole time he was using that, and they killed him, and we found him in the alley. So 2018, May 31st, we found my younger brother in the alley. He got killed. He got killed. He got killed like 2 or 3 in the morning. Like, and we didn't find him until like it's probably like the next morning. So his body laid there all night and stuff. I think about stuff like that. And fast forward, that was May 31st, 2018, and then September 10th, 2018, my mom got killed in a drive-by. And
related or no?
Yep, yeah, related. Yeah, all that stuff is still related. People trying to. And what happened was with that situation, it's kind of retaliation. A lot of people. Well, with that situation, it was kind of different, but still related. With that situation, a lot of people think my mom was just a target. What happened was she was killed by accident. Some of my brother friends was retaliating against his murder, and what they did was they hid. They went and hid at her house, and then the people came looking. They came looking for the people, and she just so happened to get shot because they was looking for the other people. My brother friends retaliated, ran to her house, and they shot my mom's house looking for my brother friends, but she so happened to got killed and died right in front of me. So
right in front of you.
Oh yeah, right in front of me. Yeah, she died in front of me and my middle brother. Yeah, and that's people understand. It's like it wasn't like we got to the hospital. No, this was like she got shot. Right in front of me. She died right away and everything like that. She got, I want to get too graphic, but shot in the nose, like brains just blew out in the back of her head and things like that. Yeah. And this is like me seeing that. And I remember the next day, like me and my wife, we had to, and that's why I love my wife and I credit her so much. We had to clean up my mom, like brains and stuff the next day. So she died like right away. The autopsy got me being the oldest. And that's another pressure on me. When my brother died, my youngest brother died, it's my mom baby. So I'm putting together the funeral. I'm doing everything. And then when my mom died, the same thing, so seeing all that stuff close and stuff like that. My mom like passed right in, like I said, passed in front of me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Where are you at with your faith?
I'm very strong with my faith. This is where I tell people, I think when I think about in hindsight, my life, the work ethic, even my dad not being there, I think God like somehow prepared, like I tell people, I think I was prepared for this. I know it sounds crazy because the fact that because I became the man early, taking care of my kids, taking care of my mom. Then by the time my mom brother died, I was independent enough to where I almost didn't need her. So I think like God was like, you're gonna be okay almost. Because if I wouldn't have that foundation of being the man I was growing up, I probably would have fell apart. And then I had to take care of my middle brother because when he was living with my mom at the time when she passed, and he didn't want to go to the house and he didn't want to live in the house. She died in the house and stuff like that. So I had to take care of him. So I think I was at a point in my life where I was able to take care of my brother and my family and move along. But my faith has always been strong. But I think my life really like prepared me for that moment. I know it sounds probably crazy, but without that foundation of years of all that stuff happening, I wouldn't probably been able to handle it.
I think God had his hands on you your entire life, preparing you for what you would eventually have to take on.
Yeah. Diagnosed with PTSD and major depression disorder. So
talk to me about that, man. Tell me what you went through regarding that, like post all this stuff, because I'm sure that wasn't easy.
Oh, it wasn't easy, man. It's still not easy, man. Like depression, I still get depressed around like holidays. And that's the thing too with depression and stuff. Like that's such a hard thing because I try not to be selfish about it. So like for instance, like my mom's birthday is Valentine. So it's like for the longest I had to like, and my wife, that's why I credit her for being understanding. It's like I celebrate my mom, but not, you know what I mean? I got to share with my wife. I can't be selfish, so. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I bet that's difficult for you because you're trying to love on your wife, but you're also
trying not to
in memoriam for your mom.
Yeah. And it's still hard, man. And the PTSD, that's definitely hard because the way they die, like shooting and stuff like that, I still like, that bothered me all the time, man. Like, it's like, I tell people, you ever been in an argument or a fight, the adrenaline you get, I get that all the time. Like, it can be a guy in my neighborhood delivering food, driving slow, and you know what I mean? Like, I get the emotions of like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna have to, so, and this is what I said to this day, I still get like that. So the PTSD always happen. Like, there's just certain things, like somebody can be minding their business, but acting awkward. My body is like, it reacts.
reacts.
Yeah, it reacts like they're trying to do something. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's
So,
that gut visceral reaction that has
yeah,
no words to it. It's just like, I'm reacting to this.
yeah, and then
And
because of the way they die from like shooting and stuff like that. Yeah, so
I've talked to a lot of people about PTSD, and a lot of times how it's described to me is falling, like the ground comes out from underneath you,
yeah,
and it's like, oh my God, like it's just such a jolt.
yeah, it is, man. I think the hardest thing is I tell people about it, is like your body reacts like it reacts like it's happening again. That's why I think the biggest thing is like I think people don't talk about enough. Like with PTSD, your body reacts like it's in the situation. You know what I mean? Like I tell you, like if you could order food right now and someone can be driving by like with no sign trying to look for the address. To you, you'd be like, oh, he's right here. I'm probably like shaking and ready to fight. You see, my body is like, oh, okay, it's like somebody to follow me is to drive by time again. So like I think that's the thing I think a lot of people don't talk about. I think the thoughts is there, but a lot of times people don't talk about the way your body react. Like it actually reacts like that situation is happening again. So I don't think that people talk about that enough. So
Yeah.
you think about it or something happened, your body's like immediately like started to act like it's happening again. So you get the emotions, you get the feeling or everything happening again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How have you dealt with that in your adult life as a parent now, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
you've been a parent your entire
Oh
life.
yeah.
Let's just be real
I know.
about that.
Yeah.
You have been parenting since you've been a young man,
Mm.
maybe even before you would consider yourself
Yep.
a whole like a man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You
Yeah.
have been as a boy, you were parenting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So
tell people all the time, man.
so how do you deal? I guess how do you deal with? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. Actually,
How do you go? Dealing with this PTSD and with the trauma that you had experienced and having people ripped out of your life?
Yeah. I tell people the first thing is like my wife and kids saved my life, man. You gotta think about it. I tell people all the time, my wife and kids, like they actually did because I think before I react. Because people don't understand, like I'm the oldest. There's so many pressures I'm gonna talk about. Like my mom and brother didn't die from cancer. They died from the hands of other humans. So you gotta think about in the streets. Once people in my ear, like, what you gonna do? You gonna get them back? Like, you know what I mean? That's there. You know what I mean? But because of my wife and kids, I think about if I do this or that, I'm not gonna be around, and you know what I mean. Think about them. So I think I credit a lot my wife and kids. I know that sounds like cliche, but I think about everything because if I could kill someone and go to prison, who's gonna protect them and
No
stuff?
one.
Yeah, and stuff like that. A lot of things I credit to is like it's just working out too, man. I go to the gym, time to myself. I think a lot of people understand, like, got down to the science of it, like the same chemicals that drinking and drugs give you. If you can like get yourself a jog or something, you can release some of them chemicals. Cry, the same chemicals. A lot of that stuff is just brain related. So if you cry, I guarantee if you cry, you feel better because you kind of release the chemicals out your head. Working out, all that stuff is like the chemicals is in your brain. You releases them. So I think working out, my kids, and like I said, the faith and stuff, like it's almost, man, it's crazy to sound like a more realistic way too. I'd be like, this might sound crazy, but it's like I'd be like, we all gotta die in one day anyway. It sucks to think like that, but that kind of helps me.
No, man, hard things are going to happen in this world. They are
Yeah.
going to happen, whether you lead a life of sobriety, a life of the perfect parent. No matter what you do in your life, bad things are going to happen to you and to people around you, and you're going to have to deal with them in some way, shape, or form. And and this is just for me, like on a personal level, I learned it took me a long time to fall forward into this conclusion, but if I'm drinking or whatever, and something bad happens to me, it's a lot worse than if I'm sober and something bad happens to me. And to your point, if you're working out and something bad happens, when I first got sober, I would run a lot. I would do a lot of exercise stuff, and oh my gosh, I would run. It's about a mile up the road. There's a gym, and then I would get on the elliptical for 20, 30 minutes, and then I would do some like weight training, right? And then because I ran there, did the elliptical, did some weight training, like in those moments, like I was happy. I was just so fulfilled. Like, oh man, even if it's not even that much weight, I'm just fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
But then I would walk back to my house. It's about a mile. Again, not too far. But in that walk back, I'll just start crying, man.
Yeah.
I would start thinking about all the things that that had been bottled up inside of me that I tried to sedate with alcohol over the years, and they would all come out, and I'd just be like, oh man, oh, that's hard. But by the time I got to my front door every day, I was like, I can go conquer whatever it is in the world that I need to conquer, because I've already done the hard thing today, and that's dealing with what's inside of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's a big part of it. I think dealing with it. I think a lot of depression and things is like just dealing with it. You know, like the fact that you cried or like you talked it out, whatever you did. I think you dealt with it, because imagine if you went through that for like 2 weeks and didn't deal with it. You're either gonna blow up. You know what I mean? I think you just deal with it. That's why I think I credit to like just me like dealing with it, and like saying having a close faith and stuff. But it's been hard though, man. That's a lot of times like, oh, I hit the why God, why me? Like a lot of times. Yeah,
that victim mentality.
Yeah, but with mine, I go back to when I was younger, because I like, okay, because I'm like, because I'll be like, well, I never got a break. Like I took care of my mom and brothers. I had a kid. Well, guess what I'm doing? Taking care of somebody else. I got a wife and kids. Even back to the stepdad thing. Well, I'm taking care of somebody else's kids. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I'm always taking care of doing something. Then my mom and brother passed. It's like another thing. It's like my whole life, I'm like, it sounds like a complaining man, but it's like my whole life, you know, like just taking care of, like since I was younger, you know.
I could not agree with you more on that.
Yeah.
There was so many times in my 20s and even early 30s where I would be like, man, I didn't get to go do the fun thing. I didn't get to go have the college experience the way that I wanted to. Oh man, I didn't get to do that or that, you know. And I had something going on this night of the week when everybody was going out. You know what I mean? I couldn't go do it. And I was always had that like little built-in FOMO. I don't know what I would even call it. It was something though. There was something to it that I was like, oh, I didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
Bro, today, not many people get to live the life I get to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a great wife. I have great kids. I'm parenting my friends. I'm expanding my community with people like yourself and others that are on a similar journey and path. I get to wrap my arms around brothers and other people that are like, you know, that's the life right there.
It made us who we are, man. That's why I said, and I think about it, like, you know, it made us be strong, man. If we wouldn't went through none of that, you might not be able to handle any of this, you know. So, no, it made us who we are. So we definitely warriors. So I think it made us who we are, definitely, man.
Domestic dads.
Yeah, domestic dads. I like the way it sounds.
Yeah. I think a lot of that is showing up for your partner too, right? Yeah. Like your wife or your girl or whoever it is that you're in a relationship with, showing up and being present in that relationship and sharing the burden and the not just the burden, but also the good things in parenting, right? Yep. Being able to be a good partner and take on, I'm going to vacuum tonight for you, hon. Are you putting away the dishes? I'm going to mop the floor. Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. Are you, you need me to go pick up the kids from daycare? I got that. You know what I mean? Yep. Okay, this one's got soccer practice and this one's got basketball practice. We'll divide and conquer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Taking on some of those responsibilities and being able to do that and being trusted to do that. I think that at the end of the day is what being a domestic dad is really all about. And it just takes, you got to do the work to get your mind right. Yeah, you definitely do. Yeah. In order to be present in those moments for your children. Yeah, no, you definitely do. You're right about everything, man. So you definitely do. And like you said, being there, splitting everything with your partner is definitely a big part of it. Yeah. Babe, I can do 70% today. You only have to do 30. But tomorrow I'm going to do 25 and you're going to do 75. All right. I'm taking that tomorrow. Oh man. So what's your favorite part about being a dad? I tell people I got best friends that all got best friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to leave the house. I got best friends. I think my best part is like, it sounds a little selfish, but I like being a hero. Like when my kids say, "Hey, I need something," it's like, "Hey, man, I'm here to save the day." And it sounds like a selfish thing, but I just enjoy like seeing them happy and stuff. So I think I just love being around them. It's just everything about them. I think the purpose they give me though, because like without them, I probably would have committed suicide without them. You know what I mean? So many things, but they give me purpose. Waking up, having a good time, they make me smile. So the purpose they give me, you know. So yeah. What about you? Man, I love, um, my favorite thing, and I say this all the time, but my favorite thing is when I take myself out of being the advice dad, being, oh, take myself away from checking them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I struggle with that sometimes. And not to not answer the question here. I'm going to answer that question, but I think I have to establish like the other side of it. I struggle with being the advice dad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with, my 21-year-old and my 12-year-old and my, not so much my 4-year-old because he's still just like little and he's
Yeah.
growing into the person that he's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But with my 12-year-old, I find that it's really, really important for me to interject and tell him like
Mm-hmm.
all these like different things on how, like what he should do and how
Mm-hmm.
he should handle this
Yeah.
and all that. And sometimes I forget that what he really needs is somebody just to encourage him,
Yeah.
just to be present for him,
Mm-hmm.
create some space for
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he's like, "Hey, Dad, you want to play catch?" Yeah, I'm gonna play catch with you. So I enjoy those moments the most when I stop and get out of like trying to
Kind of like,
parent
yeah,
them.
I
I
know
think
exactly
is the
what you
right
mean.
word.
I know exactly what you mean. I just have to figure it out too, like more support rather than mode. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to
Yes,
like make. You know what I mean? Like
you're not. I stop trying to shape you, and I just enjoy who you are,
Yeah.
and watch you play, man.
Yeah.
I just like watching, like when they're out there doing their thing and they're in their moment and they're not looking at me over their shoulder like my dad's gonna get mad if I do this, my dad's gonna get mad if I do that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's more of a, like they're just being them. I
Mm.
think those moments right there are my favorite moments of parenting.
Yeah.
And I've been, alcohol for me would always put like a, like dimmed that part
Mm.
of it because I was always trying to like course correct
Yeah.
or do things for him. And then I just wasn't a great parent while I was
Yeah.
drinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of been like, it's been this wave of, I actually get to communicate with other people about, with my child and about my child in
Mm.
very good and positive ways. And I get to watch my sons flourish a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like seeing the fruits of your labor, man.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part about being a dad is watching them be good people
Yeah.
when they do cool,
Yeah.
cool, like badass stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I agree with you, man. That's why I said like this. They give me purpose and my best friend. Like I said, same thing, man. Is watching them and letting them be who they are. Like I talk to them a lot of times about stuff like that. Like I just let them be, like you said. I learned that. I think what made me learn that is when I started acting because I'm like I'm already doing something out of the norm. So it put me in a mindset to like almost like don't judge your kids. Like you know what I mean? Like because if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like how you said, like if you're
100%.
yeah, like because I'm doing something out of the norm, so I'm like whatever you want to do or however you acting, like you said, like trying not to mold you. It's like I'm doing something out of the norm. I can never tell you who to be. You know, I can support you and be there for you, but I can never tell you who to be. So I think once I started doing chasing acting and stuff, that kind of went into my parenting too because I didn't look at them in a traditional way. If that makes sense, you know, if you told me you wanted to be an astronaut that drive race cars, I didn't laugh at you. You know what I mean? Like I just be like, all right, I'm gonna teach you.
What do we got to do to get you
Yeah,
there?
you want me to teach you how to drive now? Like so, so it made me like back to what you said. It made me just like look at them as that, like that, you know. So
Yeah. Um, you just said something that triggered me. When you started acting, you started, would you say thriving more as a parent?
I think let me
There's
see.
something to that because I think once you start doing what gives you purpose and
Yeah,
what you
I
feel
think I did.
is
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
you're able to let go of your own insecurities
yeah,
and start parenting in a better way.
yeah. I did because what it does, like I tell people all the time, because people like you're acting like because a lot of people think like, and I see celebrities say this all the time. I'm not doing it for the money and stuff. Like I get that because what happened was when you do something you love, you kind of it makes sense. You're happier when you. Yeah, but like I said, I became a better parent because when I'm acting, I'm actually doing something I love. So it makes me love myself. If that makes sense. Because
Yes.
you know how a job is. I hate this job. Well, guess how the rest of your day going? Now
I
you
hate the
kind of
rest of my day.
yeah, I hate the rest of my day. Now you kind of like almost you like almost living in victim mode because I hate my job and I'm kind of it's one of the things where you don't love yourself and it clearly shows. And I don't think men talk about it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of even when I see documentaries about how people say their dads hated them. Like sometimes it's like no, they might have hated themselves. If I do a job that I hate, well, it makes me feel less of a person. It makes me hate myself, and then that just shows. Like I said, it shows and everything. So It definitely did. It made me happier with myself. So that's why I work out. Like, it makes me happy with myself. If I'm happy, I can be a better friend, a better everything. So yeah, definitely, yeah.
So aligning passion with purpose is a really, really big thing for me. I would encourage anybody who listens to this podcast to um, follow Deandre's advice on doing what you love, because it's going to have the utmost effect on the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
And
You don't realize how much. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you don't realize how much it affects people around you. And as I'm talking to you, I just thought about it, like, because you just kind of project. You start hating your life, so you start hating the people around you. And I tell people all the time too, because I talk to people all the time, like, and it's also what you want to do. Like, don't look at me. You know what I mean? Like, I tell people, if you want to be a manager at McDonald's, like,
do that.
Yeah, that's what I said. Because people
always do it with passion.
Yeah, exactly. Because people always come to me with the. I'm not saying don't do it, but they come to me like they thinking, no, like, if you want to be a manager, you want to go to school. If you want to be a dad, because like that's a goal. You know what I mean? Like, just do it. Like you said, do it and love it. You know what I mean? So that's success. You know?
Yeah. Oh man. So many people, and I was one of them, equated success in their life to how much money they made. And that I can't tell you how many times I fell into the pit because I had a really good month, because I work in sales, and I would have a really good month, and then I would have a bad month. And I was like, oh, I'm the best dad in the world. And then all of a sudden the next month, when it didn't close out the way I wanted it to, my kids saw a completely different parent in me. You know what I mean? And I think somewhere passion didn't align with purpose, right? Yeah. And there's balance somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, you can have a good month every month in sales if you really try hard and do a good job. Yeah. You can have a really good month being the manager at McDonald's. Yeah. If you really try hard and it's what you want to do. Yep. If you want to manage people, you can have a really good job day in life and find balance and being a cashier. Yeah. If that's what you want to do. Yeah. But aligning passion with your purpose is important, right? Yeah. So like, if you like being outside and you like doing, like, lifting things up and moving things around and getting your hands in the dirt, don't go work in a warehouse, man. Yeah. Find a landscaping job. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, find out what drives you and do that. And then the rest of your life becomes so much better, and your children thrive from that.
And I think we're living in a time now where it's like easier to decide, like, if you want to do something, do it, I just think so many people have, like you said, like, they have you can do it, but so many people think it's like, you got to be the craziest thing. Like, if you want to do something, like you said, if you want to play in dirt, man, get your landscaping job. You know what I mean? Like, just do it, So, no, I agree with you completely, man. Yeah. And another thing too is, like, I understand too, like, even when things not going good, you gotta, like, you gotta smile when it's not going good, Like I was saying, like, when you didn't have a good month, like, it shows, you know what I mean? Like, and it's when life with anybody, you know what I mean?
So there was a job I did. And it would, like, people were so negative, man. They were being so negative, and my customers were like, hey, it's not good. So it just feels like these people are just negative. And what it was a bunch of people sitting in a room making phone calls, right? And they were really, I think they were bored when they came into work. They didn't think that their job had purpose or whatever. So I went and I got a mirror, and I put that in front of those people, and I was like, I want you to look at yourself when you call other folks, and I want you to smile. And if you're smiling, they're gonna feel that on the other side.
That's a dope tactic, man.
So I was like, hey, just feel good doing your job. I don't know if you got what you got to do inside your head, but all I want you to do is smile when you talk to people. Yeah. And if you smile, you're gonna make, like, something's gonna happen with you. So they started doing it. So they're looking in these mirrors every day, and they're smiling. And then I go back and I check with the customers, and I'm talking to them, and they're like, hey, I don't know what you did, but it worked.
Yeah, energy, man. Because smile, you can, like, law of attraction, all that. Sometimes you have to trick the body. Like, that smile makes you positive energy. You know what I mean? Like,
it's contagious too.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You have to. Sometimes you got to do it. So no, that's a great tactic, man. That's pretty dope. I did some crazy. I worked a lot of places too, though. So, like, I did a lot of crazy jobs. So. Yeah.
I did a telemarketing job once. It was. Oh man, it was hard. Hello, would you like to buy cell phones? Hello, would you like to buy cell phones?
Hang up on you?
Like, yeah.
I think the hardest job I ever did was, like, delivering drywall. Like, that sounds easy, but, like, it was like in the wintertime. You got to think about it. When you deliver drywall, the building is not together, so you delivering like in the 0 degrees, and then like it's
with wind.
Yeah, and it's drywall, so it's like super heavy, and like you know what I mean. Like the structure's not there yet, so you just in the cold. Like man, that sucks so bad. Like man, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah,
it sounds easy, but like,
but for somebody who doesn't like dealing with people, that might be great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, man, I just didn't like the cold.
No, I hear you. I hate the cold. I don't know why we live in Iowa.
I know
There's nothing guarding us from the wind, and it's sharp. So, what keeps you smiling every day?
I think what's keeping me smiling, I think I credit a lot to, I love my kids, man. I know I keep saying that, man, like, but having a newborn and just having kids in general, like, they kind of like, they just keep me going, you know what I mean? I know I keep saying that, but I think it's my kids, man. Yeah. And my kids and helping and hoping I can motivate somebody, man. That too, because I get a lot of messages and stuff about, because of you, or like I did this, or I applied for this job. So like, I love to give back. But see, I like to tell people, like I love to give back mentally. You know what I mean? Like, so you know what I mean? Like some people donate to charity. I donate mentally. Like, you know what I mean? I love to do that. Like, and I don't even
create space for people.
Yeah, you know how many people I tell that you can do this, apply for that job, and they write me. So I love to. I think my purpose, like helping people, having that voice to help people. Everything I've been through, and that's why I think God wanted me to act. I don't. It's not about being in front of the camera. It's about when they try to see who's in front of the camera, they go see my backstory and be like, oh, dang, it's just basically a platform. God gave me a platform to tell you who I am.
Yeah.
Because if I would have never started acting, it's now not, if I was working, my life story would be, compared to being buried, it would just be in a box in the ground. Because of the acting, it grew and everybody got to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I think acting, God just wanted me to tell you my story. Now you know my story because I had the exposure. So this is making people happy and things like that. Because I get a lot of messages of people like, yeah. So I think it was just God TV screen just to show me to people who needed to see me, So
yeah. Well, you definitely have a positive energy about you. You got to tell me how you got into acting and take me through that real quick before we wrap this up.
Oh man, my first movie role was crazy. It sounded fake. So this is what happened. I was at the gym. At the time I was living in Waterloo. I was at the gym, and every day I go, I seen this guy. Right? It sounds fake, but it's true. Like I seen this guy. He was working out. He kept talking to me every day. I'm like, what does this guy want? Like, why is he talking to me? It was like weird. And then like he kept talking to me. This was before my mom and brother died. It was like 2017. So like I didn't have like the, you know what I mean, like the guards up already. So like he kept talking to me, and then as I got to know him, became friends. And he's like, man, I'm from Chicago. I'm here just casting for. I make movies, and I got to know him. And then it's like, I'm a picture in the movie. And then I got to know him and stuff. And then I was like, I still don't believe it. He sent me a script and like stuff like that. That's how it happened. I did my first movie in Chicago. Just from like going to the gym, I met a guy, like he was talking to people. I think some people was just blowing him off, but not knowing like treating people good because I treated him well and talked to him and didn't blow him off. I got to know him. He ended up being a casting person. He make movies.
That's wild.
Yeah, man.
So, Squid Games?
Yep, Squid Games. Yep.
Yeah.
Player 181 on Squid Game. It's still the top show. If you go on Netflix right now, it's still on a popular show. So yeah. I'm
gonna turn it on after you leave. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm very curious.
I haven't watched it yet either. I know that sounds. I haven't watched it yet either.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like you just. I honestly haven't watched it. Like people send me pictures of me and stuff, but I haven't watched it yet. I don't know why, man. Like, do you listen to yourself? Or you like
no, I hate it. I hate listening to the sound of my own voice. Do you do you struggle from that as well?
Yeah, I don't watch myself. No. Yeah,
like,
I don't watch myself. No, I don't.
Yeah. But you've done some commercials and things like that too. Yeah.
Yep. I just did a commercial, Honda commercial. Just getting ready to come out. Yep, a Honda commercial and things like that. Yep.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, man.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, I got to put you on the spot a little bit. Do you have any words of advice or just motivational quotes that you live by?
Yeah, man. I think my best thing I live by is like live in the moment, but don't. If that makes sense. When I say that, meaning like you ever get a flat tire and you feel like it's the end of the world? I always tell people like live in the moment about it. I mean, like deal with it, but always try to think about somebody's going through something worse. Because like sometimes I think a lot of people we feel like everything is the end of the world. You get a breakup, you get a flat tire, it's the end of the world. I tell people if you think of somebody going through something worse, you would kind of find gratitude on what you're going through, and then I think that's what I mean by that. Because sometimes it takes you thinking about how bad someone got to realize how good you got it. So, and if you got to do that to make you continue. Because what happens is you can live in a victim mode or like that simple flat tire. There's people who have the rest of their day is bad because they just putting out that energy because they're like my tire's flat and stuff like that. If you think about somebody that got a if you get a flat tire, think about somebody that don't have a car. I guarantee you'll be.
Promise you'd rather have a flat tire.
Yeah, you'll be smiling. That's what I mean. Like, and you'll be smiling fixing that tire. So live in the moment, but don't. And it sounds like crazy, but that's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
You think about you get a flat tire. If you think about a guy that's walking, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna fix this flat tire with a smile.
Yes.
So that's what I mean by. So like, just think like that, and you appreciate what you got because a lot of times we don't do that when something bad. And I say when stuff bad happens. That's what one of my things, man. Just keep going and just gratitude. Think about what you have and what you didn't have at one point, and that'll keep you going because I guarantee you'll start to enjoy what you got. So
yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right, bro.